Hey, welcome back, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. So we got some very interesting news and shocking leaks to go over. Wanted to make sure you guys knew everything about this. So let's dive in. According to an article in InsiderGaming.com, some of the heads at Sony don't view Xbox Game Pass as competition, sources claim. So that's very, very interesting. Obviously, that's a shocking statement to hear come out of PlayStation. But let's go on and check out the article a little bit more and see what it says. So they say here, it's been claimed by insider gaming sources that Jim Ryan, CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, has implied that the company doesn't view Xbox Game Pass as competition, despite the company expressing concerns about Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Furthermore, they say one source who wishes to remain anonymous because they couldn't speak about their knowledge of the information publicly has said that Jim Ryan had an employee Q&A earlier this month where he talked about market competition. So again, just want to state and make it clear that this is potential insider information from a source that is wishing to remain anonymous. So we must state that the source wants to remain anonymous and not reveal their name, because obviously they're revealing insider information here if this is true. So just want to let you guys know that. So moving on the article, they say, in response to a question about Xbox Game Pass, Jim Ryan reportedly said that when we consider Game Pass, it seems to be getting lower, meaning their numbers. When we consider Game Pass, we've sold more PS5s in 2 years than they have gathered subscribers, and they've been doing that for 6 to 7 years. So, ouch. That's a rough statement. So, moving on, Ryan reportedly continued and said, we're just shy of 50 million subscribers and they are in the low 20s, but there's more work to do to grow that number. So obviously when we hear statements like this, it sounds very, very shocking to hear something like this coming from Jim Ryan, coming from the heads at PlayStation. But when you step back for a moment and think about it, it's not too surprising. We don't feel, and I don't believe that Sony is necessarily concerned with Xbox or concerned with Game Pass in any way. I believe Sony feels very secure in who they are, what they do, and who they serve. I believe Sony has carved out their niche, and I believe they serve that to the players and they get a return on that investment. I don't necessarily believe anything that Microsoft or anything that Xbox is doing will change up that formula or put a monkey wrench in the situation that Sony has going on. No, I don't believe the acquisition of Activision Blizzard all of a sudden makes Xbox a great concern to Sony and PlayStation. No, I am one of the mind that believes regardless whoever was the entity, whoever was the company that decided to make such a large and unfounded purchase of $70 billion to acquire a studio, there would have been waves. There would have been some smoke there. There would have been some concern, regardless of who it was. If it was Google or if it was Amazon or anyone using that great of an amount of money to purchase a video game studio, there would be issues there. So I don't want to conflate the two. I don't necessarily believe just because of the Activision Blizzard acquisition, that's what now makes Microsoft a big concern to Sony. No, I believe they would have been concerned regardless of whoever made the purchase. I'll say that, number one. Number two, I'll say this. I'll switch things around a bit. When it comes to competition, I do think Xbox is competition. Absolutely. I think competition is good. I believe competition is healthy, and I think Xbox is competition for PlayStation, and the two battle it out to earn the favor of the gamers and the mind share of the gamers to dominate the market, and I believe they do compete against one another to do so. Now, do I think Xbox and Game Pass is a threat in the minds of Jim Ryan and heads at PlayStation? I would say not necessarily. So the way I view things, competition, sure, competition is good, competition is healthy. The gamers succeed when Xbox and PlayStation compete against one another. So that's a great thing. Now, a threat, that's a different question. And I believe if this leak is true, That's where Jim Ryan and the heads at PlayStation were leading. Competition, yeah, a threat. I think Microsoft and Xbox would have a little bit more work to do to become a threat, but competition, absolutely. Now, again, when it comes to the Activision Blizzard acquisition, I don't necessarily believe Sony forcefully fighting in court to stop this acquisition necessarily lets us know that they see Xbox as a threat. I believe they would have made this move and similar moves regardless of whoever decided to make that purchase. It's a big purchase, you guys. You must understand. Listen, even Twitter recently was purchased for a record-breaking amount of over $44 billion. But this acquisition dwarfs that. It's the biggest in gaming history. It may be one of the biggest in tech history. So no matter what, there was going to be issues with this purchase, no matter who made it. So I believe Sony has an issue with that purchase, but I don't necessarily believe just because they have an issue with it, they view Xbox and Game Pass as a threat. Now, competition, sure, and competition is good. And I hope that competition continues and heats up even more because we win. The gamers win if it does. But a threat, maybe not. So let me know what you guys think about all this. Obviously, it's Christmas Eve. We thought things would be super slow, but hey, you got some breaking news that's coming out. Wanted to make sure you guys knew everything about it. What do you think? Do you agree with Jim Ryan here? Do you feel that he is justified with what he's saying, or do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Thanks so much. Catch you later.